Ramaphosa expressed a view that the COVID-19 pandemic had forever changed the nature of multilateral engagement, of diplomacy, business and basic human interaction. Yet he questioned the solidarity between nations at a time when it was needed most.
It is an indictment on humanity that more than 82% of the world's vaccine doses have been acquired by wealthy countries, while less than 1% has gone to low-income countries. Unless we address this as a matter of urgency, the pandemic will last much longer and new mutations of the virus will emerge and spread. South Africa reaffirms its call for fair and equitable distribution of vaccines.
He endorsed the widely held view that the world must prepare for future pandemics and work with greater determination towards the goal of universal healthcare coverage after national health systems teetered on the brink under the strain wrought by COVID-19.
We must increase investment towards the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals by providing low-income countries with the means of implementation. In this respect, the G20 Debt Standstill Initiative is a welcome response to the fiscal and liquidity challenges faced by least developed economies. The agreement on the allocation of $650 billion in special drawing rights is significant, but it is insufficient to meet the extent of the enormous need. South Africa therefore reiterates its call for 25% of the total allocation, amounting to around $165 billion, to be made available to the African continent.
He also touched on traditional themes, calling for the rights of the people of Palestine and Western Sahara to self-determination to be respected. He reiterated Pretoria's long-standing view that the economic embargo on Cuba be lifted, while calling for a move to text-based negotiations in the long-limping intergovernmental negotiations on Security Council reform.
We must address the underrepresentation of the African continent in the UN system and ensure that the voice of the African continent, wherein 1.3 billion people reside, and the global South in general, is strengthened in the multilateral system.
And amid mounting concerns that the COP26 climate conference in Glasgow will lack the requisite ambition, after a warning from the UN chief that the event could fail due to mistrust between developing and developed nations.
Although we bear the least responsibility for causing climate change, African countries are among those that carry the greatest burden and cost. For the forthcoming COP26 in Glasgow, to respond adequately to the crisis we face, we need to see greater ambition and progress on mitigation, adaptation, and the means of implementation. COP26 must therefore launch a formal program of work on the implementation of the global goal on adaptation.
Calling the UN a beacon of hope for the world, he urged the collective to write a new history for humankind, leaving no one behind. Sherwin Bryceby's SABC News, New York.